Hello, everyone. Believe this is working. Benjamin Lindsay here, managing editor at Backstage. Um, Very lucky to be joined today by actor Wendi McLendon-Covey. She will be sitting face to face with me. We've hosted a couple of these before. Not sure if you guys have tuned in yet. Um, but we'll be talking about her latest project. She's star of the Goldbergs, of course. Reno 911 is having a reboot coming up on Quibi. That's for next month, so we'll be talking about that. And then she also has a new indie film called Blush, which started streaming on VOD earlier this month on April 10th. I've seen it myself. It's excellent and kind of an unexpected turn from Wendi as someone who is best known for comedies. And it looks like she's requesting to join me right now. Okay. Show on the road. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Wendi. This is Benjamin Lindsay from Backstage. Thanks so much for finding the time to chat today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Can you hear me
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear
good.
you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right,
perfectly.
perfect. I have to say, we've hosted a few of these so far, and this was the most seamless. You knew exactly what you were doing to jump on with me, so I really appreciate it.
I'm getting good at this. This is
Yeah,
how we
yeah.
live now, you
I
know?
guess we all have to get used to the new digital techniques of these interviews and whatnot.
Right?
How are you holding up, though?
You know what? The first 2 weeks, I spent a lot of time panicking
Hmm.
and worrying about people, and now it's time to just buck up and figure out what we as individuals need to learn from this.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
it's
I can't feel sorry. I can't sit around feeling bad anymore. We got to just dig in and figure things out.
yeah, yeah. It's insane how quickly this became the new normal in terms of isolating and staying at home. But now it's gotten to the point where it's the way of the world, and we got to make the
Hmm.
most of it. Just mental health
Yep.
wise, I imagine.
Yeah.
But um,
Because us complaining about it actually isn't doing anything,
right, exactly.
which is surprising because I'm so good at complaining.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad to see that your health is you're staying healthy, you're staying safe. Obviously, aside from the isolation, that's the most minimal repercussion of this situation. So we're staying safe. That's the main
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I gave you a little intro before you jumped on. We have a couple projects to discuss today. We have Blush, which is a new indie film that just started on VOD on April 10th. And that's kind of a departure from the comedies that we know you best for, which is very exciting. Reno 911 reboot coming up on Quibi for next month. And then, of course,
Right.
you're always staying busy with your work on the Goldbergs. Um,
Yeah.
it strikes me that you seem like an actor just between the fact that you were filming Reno and Goldbergs at the same time. You like to stay busy. You like to stay creatively active and working. What was that like
Yeah.
to do the two of them at the same time?
It wasn't the first time I've had to do that.
Okay.
And the only thing you can do is just say, I am so grateful for these opportunities. I've never wanted to do anything else. So if they've got to land on top of each other, I'm going to power through it because, maybe there are going to be times when I'm not so busy.
Right.
So you just rally because you just love what you're doing so much that who needs a day off?
Right. It's a
You
blessing.
know,
It's a good problem to
it's
have.
a blessing.
Yeah.
I haven't had a vacation in I don't know how long because people don't know this, but when I'm on my hiatuses from the Goldbergs, I try to cram in as many movies as I can.
Right, right.
Not that anybody sees those movies, but I do them, you know. And it's so much fun for me until I actually think about what I'm doing, and then I get tired.
Right. If
So
you
the best
stop
thing
and
is
think
just
about
don't
it.
think about it.
Exactly,
Yeah, just don't think
exactly.
about it.
Well, from an acting standpoint, us at Backstage, of course, are for the working actors and creators of the world. Does aside from just the time commitment, is it an interesting perspective to be needing to shake off your Reno 911 caricature and then put on the Goldbergs? What's the process look like?
Yeah, that was weird. That
Yeah.
was weird because I hadn't played that character in 13 or 14
Yeah.
years. So, I remember one day it was, they were very gracious about working with my Goldberg schedule. And, at one point I had to squeeze in a Reno session on a Wednesday between Goldberg's things.
Okay.
And that was kind of I did think my head was going to explode that day
A little bit. Yeah.
a little bit, but it felt good that I pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it felt good that all that money I spent on acting classes really paid for itself in that
Right.
day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what you train for.
Right.
This
Right.
is what you train for. Yeah.
And I personally love that you're revisiting Reno 911. How is it that that first kind of came about?
Um, that came about because I guess Quibi approached Comedy Central or something like that, because Comedy Central still owns the rights to Reno. And it just makes so much sense for that show, which
Mhm.
was kind of a string of sketches anyway. It really does lend itself to the quick bites of Quibi.
Yeah.
So when they approached us all, I thought, gosh, that would be fun, but I don't know if I ought to do it because I'm a little superstitious in that way.
Hmm.
And like once you say goodbye to something, you shouldn't look back.
Right. Right. You put it to bed. That's the
You put
past.
it to
Yeah.
bed, you don't dwell on it, you move on, you move on, you move on. But then I thought, oh, it would be so much fun. Why would I deny myself this?
Right. Right.
And it was fun. It was really fun. So I hope people get a kick out of it. God knows right now we need to laugh.
Certainly. Yeah.
And so I think we will accomplish that
Yeah. And
with it.
if the fact that we're connecting on Instagram right now is any indication, it does indicate that platforms like Quibi are here to stay. And
Yeah.
certainly in times like today, everyone's on their phone, everyone's looking for something to do. Jump on for 10 minutes and then get a laugh out of Reno 911. It's a classic.
Yeah, exactly. And may that be a lesson to everybody out there who thinks, well, I want to create something, but I don't know. Well, it doesn't have to be a lengthy thing. Right now, anything goes on television
Right,
and
right.
on streaming.
Yeah.
Throw it at the wall, see what sticks, you
Now,
know?
did creating for Quibi, was it at all noticeably different from your perspective from making the series? Or as you say, it is all kind of a stream of sketches. So was it pretty
Yeah,
seamless?
it still was the same in that we would do really long takes
Hmm.
that are all improvised, knowing that they would chop out the fat.
Hmm.
But this will look better.
Okay, yeah.
Before it was all just like that shaky handheld stuff, which completely lends itself to that. But this is a little more cinematic in that Quibi, you can hold your phone in different positions and see different views.
Yeah, yeah. It's very cool.
So yeah, it's very cool. So, artistically and technically, it is a little different.
Yeah.
But as far as the actors are concerned, it didn't really affect us.
Right. You're there to do your job and and
Yeah.
hit the ground running. Yeah. Now, was it fun to revisit the opportunity to improv in that kind of setting? I know that you kind of cut your teeth in the Groundlings. Um,
Yes.
does a lot of the work that you're doing today allow for that kind of improv to seep in, or was Reno kind of a
You
unique
know,
experience?
Reno was a unique experience because, like I said, it didn't have to look good. So we didn't film things from different angles. So if you got a brilliant take, that's how it stood.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You didn't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
keep replicating it. Um, but as far as do I still get to improvise on things? Please, I've made indie films where the script is so patched together
Hmm.
that, oh hell yes, you're gonna improvise tons of dialogue.
Yeah.
So kids, get good at improvising. Doesn't mean you have to be funny. Improv is not always funny, but you have to learn how to listen and respond accordingly in character because you will be called upon to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, across genres, and I feel like that kind of takes us to Blush, because I did want to pick your brain a bit on the choice to make sort of that genre departure. You're so good in it,
Hmm.
and
Thank you.
but especially compared to the roles that you're best known for, it is a bit of a departure. So is that kind of a conscious decision to be wanting to switch it up a little bit?
Um, I always want to switch it up, and
Yeah.
this isn't the first drama I've done, but it's probably the first one people will see.
Hmm.
And it's certainly the first one I've starred in. And that was interesting because I was originally cast in another role
Oh,
in
okay.
that film. I was
Which role
cast
was that?
as the sister.
Okay.
So the lead had to drop out for that, and the other reason. And one of our producers said, "Well, why don't we let Wendy do it?" And I was very grateful for that opportunity. I loved the role, you know.
Hmm.
So that was, but I have to say that was very, very tough
Hmm.
because I had come off of being in Atlanta for almost 3 months shooting two movies back to back. And I was so drained that I said to the director, I said, if you want to recast me, you are more than welcome. Like, I actively encouraged her to recast me because I
Sure.
didn't
Yeah.
think I could do it.
Yeah.
Um, 3 weeks of guerrilla shooting at the height of the summer and the summer heat. I
Hmm.
just didn't think I could do it, but I did do it. And we went to Sundance and it was great. But the whole time I felt off kilter. And the whole time I felt like, I don't know if I'm pulling this off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But a little befitting of the
again, you have to
character
push
too.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that?
I feel like that uneasiness kind of lends itself to the character at the end of the day anyway.
Yes.
You're bringing
Yeah.
yourself on the day to the role, and it was to its benefit. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, really excellent work. And for those tuning in right now, it's available on VOD. So be sure to check it out. Blush.
Thank
Um,
you.
you did mention that your improv work kind of informs what you're doing today. Can you talk about just your training in general and how you kind of bring that to what you're doing on the day on a set?
Are you talking about my improv training specifically or just all the
Well, yeah,
training?
yeah, well, maybe the training that you found most beneficial when you were first starting out. Obviously, you're seasoned now in your career. Do you find that you still
Mhm.
keep things in your back pocket to kind of call on the day?
I do. I have found that my improv training I've used more than any other. That is the best money I have ever spent.
Mm,
And once again, it's not about coming up with really funny jokes all the time.
mm,
That has nothing to do with it. It's about listening and responding truthfully as the character you're playing
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and understanding the A to the B to the C of the scene. Because sometimes the scene is not for you to dominate, but you still need to go in with intention
Mm-hmm.
and be supportive. So, oh my God, I can't tell you how grateful I am that I have that training. I use it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, every commercial, every audition, every interview, I use my improv training. So if anybody watching this right now is or has been shying away from getting improv training, please give yourself that gift. It's going to be the most important thing you do
And I
as an
find
actor, training wise.
that's excellent. That's excellent. And I also find, at least just in my experience interviewing people like you, that that kind of uh, something like the Groundlings, it fosters a community and it fosters kind of a creative foundation with like-minded people. Was that
Yeah,
especially, did you find that as well? And just in terms of fostering a community
absolutely.
early on?
Yeah, you need to find your tribe
Mm,
creatively, and you need to find people who are going to inspire you and be expanders for you and support you through things, and people that you can bounce ideas off of and create things with, but who aren't going to judge your work like that. You need to have people around you who can give you the truth without making you feel like you want to quit.
Totally.
And I know you might have to jump around to a few different places. For me, it was the Groundlings. Other people, they may not vibe with that whole process there, but there's other places you can go. And I really encourage you to, not deprive yourself of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as someone who self-admittedly likes staying busy as an actor, you're filling your off season with indie films and whatnot. What are you hoping to do next? You have these three projects, and the Goldbergs obviously is an ongoing thing. But what's next on your checklist?
On my checklist. Well, that's interesting because the entire deck has been reshuffled because of what's going on. So
were you in the middle of production or anything when the shutdown hit?
We were about to film our season finale at the Goldbergs.
Got it. Okay.
But I had 2 films I was going to do this spring, and then something I was going to tackle over the summer. That's all gone away, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't want anything that wasn't meant for me. Like, sure. If it comes around again, it comes around again, or something better will happen.
Yeah, it's a healthy mindset.
Yeah. So I do have a show that I want to pitch that's all ready for pitching.
And you're the creator on that one.
I am the creator.
This is your brainchild. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Unless people hate it, then I'll blame it on someone else. But
sure.
That's how it works. There's a stage thing I want to do, but again, that might have to wait a year now. Things are brewing. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say.
Things are brewing.
And I'm trying to keep the creative well filled. Mm-hmm. I started a podcast with a friend of mine called Generation Ripe.
Yes.
That's been fun because I love talking to other creative people from all walks of the arts, not just actors. So that's been a good thing for me to do and very inspiring. So what I can say to people out there is right now you have the time. There is absolute value in sitting still for a second and letting all the seeds you've already sown come to fruition or go away. Like, don't be afraid of this time. Fill your creative well, like I said. Watch movies, watch plays. You can watch plays online. Mm-hmm. Get together with your friends and read plays on Zoom. Don't feel pressure. Take the pressure off yourself to have to create the next big thing during this pandemic. You don't have to, but just experiment with things and keep your spirits up and, connect with people who are like-minded and see if you can create something. I don't know, but just take the pressure off yourself to let everything be brilliant. It's not gonna be, and that's fine, but just do it for the sake of doing it, because activity breeds activity.
Certainly. And this is an important time to keep that creative well filled. You mentioned, just coincidentally, to watch theater online. In a previous interview that we hosted with you for Backstage, you had said that one performance that really blew you away was Michael Urie in Buyer and Seller. And incredible, right?
Yeah.
And
he did that last night, I believe.
Yes, it's streaming right now. I just looked it up on Broadway.com. So if anyone out there is looking for a good piece of theater to watch, take Wendy's advice and tune into Buyer and Seller, certainly. Well, I'm just looking through my questions here. That was a perfect segue and kind of cap to my question of what you want to tell actors out there to stay creatively fulfilled. And I feel like you perfectly touched on that. This is a moment to be in the present moment. So stillness is okay. And just focus on the immediate. Focus on what's needed.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
if you sit still, just sit still long enough for your own personal computer to do all its installs and updates. You know what I mean?
This is the
and then you will have answers, and then you'll be inspired. And am I sounding like an idiot?
Not at all. Not at
Yes.
all. I think this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so
Okay.
much for finding this slice of time for us this afternoon. Again, we have the reboot of Reno 911 coming out on Quibi next month, and Blush is available now on VOD. Wendi, thanks for your time, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Thanks everyone for tuning
Okay.
in. Bye bye.